Today we have a really fun project to build, a hammock stand. So today I'm going to show you how to build a hammock stand out of metal. This is a really sturdy stand. Basically it's going to cost about $35 to build, and it will be one of those stands that will last you years and years. It's all going to be a nice square 1.5 inch tubing, 14 gauge, so it's built to last years. Alright, we'll get to the stand here in just a bit, but you'll have to check out our other video on the hammock that my wife put together. We'll have the link down below, and just watch that video, and then you're going to go, oh my gosh, I got to build a stand. So check it out. So the supplies we're going to need is 20 feet of 1.5 inch, 14 gauge steel tubing, roughly about 20 inches of chain, and that'll be welded to this. And basically that's it. You're going to need a welder, of course, and you're going to need the ability to cut the steel. So we'll go ahead and show you the measurements and start cutting. For the measurements for the rack, we're going to have 2 of these angles coming up for the support. These are both 53 inches each. The bottom runner support is 54 inches, and then the legs are all 20 inches each. So it's going to be a total of 80 inches on the legs. And of course, we're going to have a little brace here. I don't know if you need it. I put it on just because just a little added support. Want to make sure that it was safe. And then of course we'll get you the measurement on the angle, which will be critical to making this rack. Now this one stretched out, it's roughly going to be about 9'6" in between. So if you have a hammock that's longer than that, it might not work. We built our hammock to actually right around 9 foot. And so it gives us a little leeway. If it stretches out, we can tighten it back up again. Here I have the pieces laid out and cut. All the angles are cut at 50 degrees, and we didn't have a protractor, so we just printed one off of the internet and on a piece of paper, and that works fine. Okay, so the tabs will be welded on once this is all completed. Stand it up, and then they'll just be welded on like so, and that'll just help relieve some of the pressure. So next step is welding. I'm going to weld around the sides and the top of the angle. Then I'll weld the tab on for that. And then I'll install the legs, get those welded up and put those roughly right here. And the reason I'm pulling back the leg and not putting it right here is because I'll have a welded bead right here, and that'll throw this leg off cattywampus. So when I stand it up, I want to make sure I'm on a good piece of flat metal so the whole frame is well balanced. Now that everything is cut and it's standing up, I'm going to go ahead and take my square, and I'm going to square off my legs to make sure that those are all good. Once I get those square, I'll go ahead and weld these one by one and make sure that everything is upright. So I'll just do a little tack on this one, take my square and make sure that this is also plumb. Now that the frame is all welded, I'm going to put on the chains, and the hammock will actually be hanging off of those chains via S-hook or whatever. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld this chain flatways against the 1.5 inch tubing. So that way, if I did it like this, I'm just going to I would just have a little weld in this piece right here, but I want it to go all along here so I have a nice stable weld that's not going to break free and end up landing on the floor, which would be fun. After everything is welded, what you want to do next is go ahead and take an angle grinder. If you don't have an angle grinder, a file will work just as well. But you want to take off any sharp edges around the whole framework. to prevent anyone from getting cut. So it's just going to be, everything is just going to be at a nice bevel. And once that's done, I'll take my steel brush on a drill, and I'll go through and I'll polish off any of the smoke residue left from the welding. That way the paint doesn't have a problem sticking. So I'll do that, and then we will move on from there and go ahead and put a coat of paint on her. So everything is complete, just got done with painting it. It does take about 3/4 of a can of regular spray paint. On the ends, we're going to be installing plastic inserts on the 1.5" tubing, just to make sure nobody gets cut on a rough edge. And it also finishes off, keeps the weather out of the pipes as well. The links for the inserts will be down below. Make sure you check out the macrame hammock that my wife, Kara, is making. It is absolutely beautiful. So if you have any questions, comment down below. Happy to answer, happy to help you out any way I can on this. And thanks for watching DIY on the House.